Charity. It's more than just the name of the stripper you try to leave your wife for. Basically everyone donates at some point. You'll throw pennies into that cup thing on the counter, you might pay someone in a bib to leave you alone as you walk down the street, but would you give all of it away? Most of us think this is unnecessary. Sure, it's good to give at Christmas, but it's still my money, and I should be able to buy all the video games I want without feeling bad about it. Right? Well, it's precisely this idea that Peter Singer tackles in his famous paper, Famine, Affluence, and Morality. The main principle that Singer puts forward is that if it's in our power to prevent something very bad from happening, without thereby sacrificing something morally significant, we ought then do it. This, on the face of it, seems very reasonable. Singer asks us to imagine we're walking past a pond, only to realize a small child is drowning in it. In this situation, we'd probably say we ought save the child, even if it means muddying our clothes. I'm not sure people would let it fly if you're like, yeah, sorry about the kid, but I just bought these sketches and I live for the drip. The point he goes on to make, however, is that were we consistent with this principle, our behavior would change drastically. Because effectively, there is always a child drowning in a pond. They're just not near you right now. There's always a war, famine, or disease in which people are dying, and we always have the power to save those people's lives by donating to charitable causes. I mean, what do we spend our money on, really? Yeah, a lot of our spending is necessary for survival, but is all of it? How much have we in the West spent on Funko Pops alone? The last time my Netflix subscription went out, I said no to buying 5 malaria nets. 5 people have to live with malaria now, so I could watch a show about jacked Koreans wrestling each other. It hardly seems fair, but the only difference between this and the drowning child example is proximity. But why would proximity matter? One rebuttal to Singer's idea is that we have a right to our own property. I worked for this, I earned this. Leave me alone. The question becomes though, is this right totally inalienable? A staunch Kantian might say yes, but more moderate forms of deontology hold that rights are only inalienable until the consequences of maintaining them are too great. Plausibly, a moderate deontologist would say that a child's death is a big enough consequence to justify violating our right to a nice pair of shoes. We might say it's okay not to donate to charity because no one else is, and our effect would be minimal. But the fact that no one else is doing anything doesn't really mean much. Singer asks us to imagine that there are others at the pond. If they noticed the child but were doing nothing, would we feel like we were justified in not acting? No one else did anything would do little to absolve us. And as far as inefficacy is concerned, this is just illusory. Let's say 1 million people are starving to death, and your donations save 5 of them. It's easy to look at this and say, that's just a drop in the bucket, I made no real difference. But you made a world of difference to those 5. Imagine you ran into a burning building and saved someone's life. Would you put them down dejected? When people cheered your name, would you say, yeah, but thousands of people die every day. I made no difference. Might as well throw them back in. This would be absurd. Another counter-argument is that were everyone to donate significant portions of their income, it could prove detrimental overall. The GDPs of countries would change drastically. People who would have gone on to start new businesses would now lack the resources to. Entire industries could collapse because no one is buying their products anymore. Clearly, the economy is complex enough that an upheaval on this scale could have unintended but harmful consequences. The reason this doesn't work, though, is that we can safely assume none of that is going to happen. People will continue to not donate large portions of their income. Let's go back to the pond. If everyone rushed in to save the child simultaneously, it could prove problematic. For example, there could be a stampede, and some people could get trampled. This might be true, but it's not analogous to our situation. Sure, if everyone donated, maybe something bad would happen. But we know that mass donation is not around the corner. If there was a stampede, maybe we'd be justified in hanging back. But there isn't one. Currently, we're all just watching, and we have good reason to think everyone else will continue to just watch. It's this circumstance where Singer says we have an obligation to intervene. Generally, I find this paper quite convincing, and I think at the very least, we should probably be doing more than we currently are. Unfortunately, if convinced, this does mean my brother will be buying fewer swords. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you next time.